Page 1. The Abyss of Meaninglessness. At some point in every conscious life, we are brought to the edge of a vast inner abyss, a confrontation with the terrifying possibility that life, in and of itself, is meaningless. No divine script, no cosmic checklist, no inherent direction. Just atoms colliding in space, stars burning until they die, and humans fumbling around in pursuit of fleeting pleasures or achievements. This is not a nihilistic declaration, but a recognition of a truth that lives beneath our surface distractions. The stories we tell ourselves about success, love, duty, and even spirituality are scaffolds built on the empty stage of existence. This emptiness, when first felt, can feel like a fall without end. Everything you once thought mattered suddenly dissolves into mist. If nothing means anything, then what is the point? This is the great existential crisis. But it is also the beginning of a powerful awakening. Page 2. The Crisis as a Portal. The encounter with meaninglessness is not a death sentence. It is a rebirth waiting to happen. When the old meanings crumble, a space is created. And in that space, something new becomes possible. Freedom. A deep, unconditioned freedom to choose. No longer are you bound to inherited values or roles. You become the author of your own significance. What once felt like a curse, nothing means anything, becomes a blank canvas. And you hold the brush. This realization doesn't negate the void. It doesn't deny that the universe is vast and indifferent. But it declares that within that void, you can create meaning, that you can decide what matters to you. And that decision is not meaningless. It is the very source of life's richness. Page 3. Meaning is not found, it is made. We often think of meaning as something to be discovered, like a buried treasure or a divine message in a bottle. But meaning is not found. It is made. Forged in the fires of choice, in the crucible of conscious living. You do not uncover a perfect purpose waiting for you. You create it through your engagement with life. A poet gives meaning to words. A parent gives meaning to sacrifice. A rebel gives meaning to resistance. In every act of passion, compassion, commitment, or creativity, we are assigning value. We are saying, this matters. Not because the universe declared it so, but because we did. We are the alchemists of meaning, turning the raw material of chaos into gold. Page 4. The Power and Burden of Responsibility. If meaning is created, not given, then we are responsible for it. This is both liberating and terrifying. It means we cannot hide behind fate, family, religion, or society to explain our choices. We must own them. It is no longer God told me, or society expects this, but I choose this. This responsibility can feel heavy, but it is also sacred. It means that your life is not a passive journey. It is an active creation. Every moment becomes an opportunity to define your world. And in doing so, you move from victim to creator, from follower to artist of your own destiny. Page 5. The Dance of the Infinite and the Finite. In the vastness of the cosmos, human life seems insignificant. But this very contrast, the finite embedded in the infinite, gives rise to an extraordinary beauty. Meaning is not less real because it is subjective. On the contrary, its subjectivity is its power. A fleeting human love story matters because it is brief. A single act of kindness is sacred because it is chosen in a world that doesn't require it. The fact that meaning is created does not make it illusion. It makes it art. And like all great art, it is deeply personal, deeply human, and deeply transformative. Page 6. Meaning in Suffering. One of the most profound places where we confront meaninglessness is in suffering. Pain seems senseless. Why do we hurt? Why do we lose? Why must we grieve? In a meaningless world, suffering seems unbearable. But here, too, the power to create meaning rises like a phoenix. Viktor Frankl, a survivor of the Holocaust, wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." Meaning does not erase suffering, but it gives it direction. A mother who endures pain for her child gives it meaning through love. A revolutionary who is jailed gives his suffering meaning through the cause he serves. Suffering becomes bearable, even sacred, when we choose to make it meaningful. Page 7. Freedom from external validation. When you accept that you are the one who creates meaning, you are no longer bound by external approval. You do not need others to agree with your path. You are not performing for society's applause or God's acceptance. You are not living someone else's script. You are free. This doesn't mean you live selfishly or in isolation. It means you live authentically. You define your values and live by them. You build your life not on borrowed dreams, but on what resonates deeply within you. In this way, meaning becomes not a fixed goal, but a living expression of your soul. Page 8. Meaning as an act of love. Creating meaning is not just an intellectual act. It is an act of love. It is an offering to life, to others, and to yourself. When you say, "This is important to me," you are loving something into existence. Whether it's a cause, a relationship, a piece of art, or a daily ritual, your attention and intention give life to it. Meaning is the soul saying yes. Yes to being here. Yes to contributing. Yes to creating. Even when it's hard. Even when it seems absurd. It is love that gives meaning its depth, its resilience, and its beauty. Page 9. Meaning and presence. Meaning is not always a grand vision or a life purpose. Sometimes it is found in the smallest moments, a breath, a smile, a walk under the stars. Meaning is not just created by long-term goals, but by deep presence. When you are fully here, in this moment, life starts to glow from within. The meaningless transforms, not by reason, but by presence. Awareness itself is a source of meaning. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to show up, awake and open. In presence, even the ordinary becomes sacred. Page 10. I am the one who creates meanings. In a universe that offers no pre-written scripts, I declare this. I am the one who creates meanings. I do not wait for life to tell me what matters. I decide. I do not fear the void. I walk into it with paint and poetry. I do not run from meaninglessness. I embrace it as the ground of my freedom. This is my power. This is my art. This is my sacred responsibility. I am not a puppet of destiny. I am a co-creator of reality. I do not need a grand cosmic plan to live meaningfully. I need only the courage to say, this is what I choose. This is what I love. This is what I make sacred. And in this act of choosing, I give birth to a world.